Hello and welcome to Conscious TV. My name is Iain McNay and our guest today is Satyananda. Hello there.
Hello.
Thanks for coming along.
Thank you.
And we're going to talk a little about your life and how you see life and where you are in yourself. And I know from what you told me earlier that something quite interesting happened when you were around 7 years old. You had an experience when you were coming back from school and you were late.
Yes. Yes. I was in a state of shock. I was in a state of fear because I knew I was doing something wrong. I was coming too late home and I was going to be punished. Now I know it wasn't that terrible, but then it was very scary to be punished. And as I was walking in the door in the house, I was almost unable to breathe of fear, and suddenly I relaxed, and I knew it wasn't true, it wasn't real, the punishment that was going to happen, and I could feel safe, and that process through the punishment took me into a feeling of safety that stayed with me. And I remember going after the punishment into my bedroom and feeling this is the place that I love, where I feel safe. This is a place where I can always feel safe, no matter what life brings. And I was little. I was 7 years old, like I said. And obviously I didn't integrate it in those times as I can speak about it now. But yes, it's a remarkable memory of an experience of a breakthrough, yes.
And at the time, did you have any, probably understanding is the wrong word, but did you have any feeling for what the place was? Did you see it as separate from you as a 7-year-old child? How did you view it?
I viewed it like something that gave me confidence. It gave me a lot of confidence because yes, I felt that that place was in me, was me. It wasn't something that was outside. And but obviously at that age, it wasn't more than that. I just felt confident. I felt confident that I didn't need to speak when I didn't know what to say. I felt confident that I didn't need to do what I was supposed to do. And from then on, I became quite a rebel child. In terms of, as I was saying earlier, it's every authority or every rule that I should actually follow was challenged by me. And I think it was based on that experience quite a lot. That confidence, yeah, if it makes sense.
Because you were living in Uruguay in South America.
That's right.
And I also think you told me that your father noticed a change in you, didn't he, at the time?
That's
he
right.
realised
Yes.
something was different about you.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. I wasn't afraid in the moment he was punishing me. For first time, he always knew that we were in panic when something of that would happen. I mean, it sounds like he was very bad, but he's not. He was just just strict. And but in that moment, I was able to look at his eye and see the whole situation going on without succumbing, if you like, into the panic. And he noticed that, and he took it as a challenge. He didn't like it.
He was losing his control over you, wasn't
Exactly,
he?
exactly. He didn't like that. I mean, and he remembers that. He remembers that as a child, I was the only one who was always challenging and defiant. Yeah, and but yes, that's the experience you were asking for. Yeah.
And your mother was a very sensitive woman. She was a doctor, and she had a nervous breakdown,
Yes,
didn't she,
yes.
when you were young too?
That's right. Both of them are doctors, and my mother died already. She had a nervous breakdown, and several actually, and they divorced. It wasn't a very happy time, of course. I was quite little, and as we spoke earlier, the interacting with my mother, she was highly intelligent. I became very much aware of how the mind can be so controlling, so closed, so hermetic, if you like, yes. And many times I had, because when I was quite young, when I was 16, I had to live, I lived with her, and I had to cope with some crisis. And I had to help her to come out of the crisis. And I wanted so much that she wouldn't end in a crisis, that she had to end in a psychiatrist hospital or whatever. So I had to kind of make an incredible effort to bring her out of that stream of thought, if you like. And I didn't know what I was doing, but I was exploring with her, and I was doing everything possible.
So what kind of things did you try?
Talking many things and telling her that it was imagination, telling her that she was imagining all the things. But one of the things I discovered most at the end was that she had an instinct to take care of me. So if she see me that I was losing myself, if I was getting bad because I started crying or saying something, then she would get back to her center just to protect me.
So when she felt she was needed by you, she found...
Yes.
She came out of the drama and found herself
That's
again.
right.
It's interesting,
That's right.
yeah.
Yes. But obviously this was very painful, and it was a kind of a very early training into the mind patterns, if you like, and I cannot pinpoint exactly at what residues that left, but certainly it was an adventure in an early stage into the nature of the mind.
Then in your late teens, you went on an adventure in South America. You went travelling for a time.
Yes.
To find more about life.
Yes. In those times, I had a good job, and I said to my father, I just don't believe life is about this. I can't see that life is just about me, making myself happy and finding my future and producing, my own comfort. Life, I want to discover much more life. And my father, when he was young, he read a book about Lobsang Rampa, The Third Eye.
Okay.
Yes. And he gave me that book, but I never read it because it was very dense. But he said, you want to discover something spiritual, and it's great, I understand. He was divided. In one hand he understood, but in the other hand he wouldn't want me to leave the situation I was in. And eventually I said, no, look, I'm going for traveling, but I'm going for good. I'm going, and that was the time when I felt empty in what I was doing. I felt this is not it. And a question came to my mind one morning about what would I do if I knew I was dying in 3 months. And the answer was very clear. I like to travel. I like to meet people. I like to meet the world. I like to meet other cultures. And that's what I did. So I started traveling in South America. And I went to my mother because we were in Venezuela and my mother was in Uruguay by then. And then I went through the process of coming to Europe. I wanted to come to Europe, so I tried to come to Europe. I didn't have resources. And because it was my own journey, really. Eventually I managed to get together a ticket. And I came to Europe in 1987 at the age of 21 and just early 22. So it's...
And you went to Holland, I think, didn't you?
Yes, I went to Spain and France and eventually ended in Holland. And I stayed in Holland for a good 8 years or 9 years.
And you were a puppeteer?
That's right. That's right.
Tell us about being a puppeteer. That's fascinating.